Hey guys, thank you for tuning into the LY show. We continue to talk to people in different parts of the world about how they are coping with COVID-19. Today, we're going to have a look at Malaysia. We have a special guest, named Parisa. So now let's get to know a little bit about Parisa. Let's welcome Parisa.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Ling, for the invitation. It's my pleasure and honor to be on your show. I am living in Malaysia for the past 10 years. I've been teaching here, and also I've studied here as well. And what else do you want to know?
All right, I've known you very well because we've known each other for years. We used to work for the same school. Now, just tell the listeners or the audience, a little bit about you, like, anything you would like to share.
I think about me, the most important thing is that I follow my heart and also my brain, but looks like in bracket brain, you know. So, and I should find a good cause if I want to do anything. I cannot just do it for the purpose of doing it or fulfilling a task. I should have a purpose for doing that. You know, I should find that, okay, this here, by doing this, I can get these insightful ideas about the life, about the philosophy of being, and then I can go for it.
All right. Okay, great. So how's the situation in Malaysia right now?
Um, uh, to be honest, I have not checked the statistics for the past 2-3 days, but we are in lockdown, and we have been in lockdown for 14 days. It was called partial lockdown, or another term they have used is movement control order, where you can go out only for grocery shopping and necessary things, and also you could walk in your condominium area, but you couldn't. You should get the social distancing. You should not get in crowded areas, things like that. But now it has been extended, and even walking around in your condominium is not allowed. You should be in the home. One person from the household can leave the home to provide the necessaries, and also you get up to 10-kilometer distance from the place you're staying.
Wow, with a lot of yeah, that's very specific requirements.
Yeah. The army is helping, as far as I know, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm not Malaysian. I'm from Iran, as you know, and it's very sometimes hard for me to find the most reliable source of news or what is really happening. Sometimes they suggest to produce they suggest some ideas, but then is the suggestion is not implementing. But I heard something about that army is going to also help the police and the mayor and the government basically to implement the movement control.
Did you try not to follow the information closely?
Try not to follow the information. No, I didn't. I did not try not to. I found it hard to find a source of information and the good thing is that our school is providing us with the necessary information and updates, and that's a good thing for me.
Yeah. All right. And
I know what I should do and what I should not do, but in terms of policy and decision, I'm not getting myself involved.
Okay, why not?
Because it won't make any impact for me, and if I have any idea, I cannot make changes, so I just listen what I have to listen and then implement it. The other thing is that I'm using this time as an opportunity to connect back to myself, and I'm trying to find some space to let my creative ideas flourish, and that's why I'm not that upset about being locked down in the home.
How do you guys get by with daily stuff?
Daily stuff, we just only need to buy grocery, which we'll do once in a week. My husband will go for the groceries, and then I will do the disinfection part. And I think that's not something very common in Malaysia. I have received the instruction for disinfection practices from Iranian website and Iranian social medias, that you have to put all the grocery at one place and then wear gloves and then remove them and then put disinfectant. Those you can change the cover. Those who do not need to refrigerate, for example, put it in some closed area for 3 days until if there is any virus on the surface, it will be deactivated, something like that. So I'm following that, and that's a really tiring task, because usually when you come back for the grocery, you can settle things within half an hour maximum, but following all these protocols, it will take up to 2 to 3 hours sometimes. Since also you're going once for shopping, you don't go for the small shoppings, that will make a cumulative number of items that you need to settle.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing this with the grocery?
With the grocery, I think about the last 3 weeks.
Uh-huh. All right. So you got this information from the Iranian government?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Iranian government or not, but I received it from the Iranian social medias mainly.
All right. So how's the situation in Iran?
In Iran, the situation is very bad. The number of cases is increasing, but my brother-in-law is a doctor in the emergency room in one of the government hospitals. And when we talked with him yesterday, he mentioned that the number of cases still is increasing, but the what they call it, the severity of the cases is getting less. Means that initially when they come, they couldn't manage so many cases, and within 2-3 days they would need an ICU and intensive care unit, and then they will pass away, and it was very hard. There was nothing they could help with. But now the level of severity of the cases is decreasing. Most of them, with a simple prescription, they can be discharged on the same day, and less cases will needed to have the use of the intensive care unit.
That's some good news, huh?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
but many doctors have been lost their life, sacrificed their life for it, and there will be clips coming out from their pictures, their words. Some of them, when they got the virus, they videotaped themselves through the process of treatment that they're using, and then after a few days, you receive that, oh, this doctor has already passed away. So
really?
yes, because some of them, when they get the coronavirus, they start to create something of like daily video recording. Oh, today I'm having these symptoms. I have used this medicine. This has this effect. But some of them, after a few days, you notice that they have passed away. So that's a sad story.
Do you personally know anybody who gets infected?
Yeah, my brother-in-law has been infected about I think 3 weeks ago. We have been informed about that. He recovered. He was not hospitalized, but he was put in quarantine at home, and the nurse will come for the medication and the drops and then everything once a day to the place that he was isolated.
Good to know. Okay, did you guys talk to him? How did he cope with this?
Because we were far away from Iran, so they somehow hid the truth from us for about, and even from his parents, for about a week. We get notified only the hard part of the illness is already over. Yes, but he didn't. He just mentioned it's very hard, and now he's back in the hospital for continuing his service, and he video recorded a few videos for the social medias for asking people to not go out, explain that he has got the disease itself and he knows that how it feels to be infected. And also he tried to have some communication with the government universities and some bodies to provide a more comprehensive management system for the hospitals to settle the issue.
Wow. Can't believe he's back to work again.
Yes, but he went back after 14 days of full recovery.
All right, that's good. I hope everything goes well with him.
The saddest story maybe that I have to share is there was one a female doctor, quiet, maybe in 50s, 40s, that he got infected with the virus, and because the lack of the manpower in the hospital, she was continuing visiting people with having the IV in the hand, with having the drop in the hand. She was visiting and prescribing the medicine, and she passed away after some time. So, but there is a picture of it which goes viral.
So she was supposed to be hospitalized, but because of the lack of manpower, she continued to work, and then she passed away while.
Yes, she was infected, and because the lack of manpower, she continued to visit the people who are already infected with corona and help them for the process.
Was she like forced to go back to work, or she voluntarily went back to work?
No, I don't think she was forced. She voluntarily have done that.
Oh, I see. I see. Wow, that's really, really sad.
Yes, that's real. But it's not only for Iran. I think in Italy, in Spain, and many other countries, which is very badly affected, impacted by this, and even in China, I'm sure there you have heard of many stories like that.
Well, I didn't follow that closely, but this is the first case that I've heard of. That's really sad. Anyway, all right. So, and what about your family members? As far as I know, there are quite some doctors in the family.
Yeah, my mom is gynecologist, so she is continuing to visit the people who need special care during this time. And my father is also working in a clinic as well, and the clinic is still open during our New Year, because from 21st of March up to yesterday was our New Year holiday as well in Iran. So, but he continued to go to work, and but they try to protect themselves with all the safety gears that they could find.
Are you worried about them?
I was worried at the beginning, but then after 1 week, 2 weeks passed, and then I couldn't see any symptoms, and I thought I just try to have faith.
All right, all right. Now it seems like you're coping with this situation pretty well.
Yeah, it was not like this at the beginning at all. I remember the first day that I heard about this virus was, I think about 6th, 7th of January. It was a weekend. Me and my husband went for grocery shopping, and my husband just, as a normal conversation, mentioned that there is a new virus coming in China, and it has already killed 2 people. It's nothing very serious, but because it's new, people are worried about it. And then in a second, in my world of imagination, it fast forward to a big pandemic, and me getting stuck, and me being intensive care because of that, or my family member. And I had a like immediate panic at that time. But then I said, don't worry, it's not a big deal. It's not look like a SARS. You know, I said that's how I calm myself down. It's not going to be like a second SARS. And but after it was near Chinese New Year, the last day of our school before the holiday, I've heard that there was a first case in Singapore. And at that moment, I was not sure. I was in the school, and I was not sure if I can drive back home or not. But then, within the Chinese New Year, I was very stressful. Although the whole community around me was calmed down, it looked like they were somehow teasing me. Is in China, you are here in Malaysia, why you are thinking about that like that? They were talking to me, and they're blaming me for me being so worried about this virus. But none of the words could suit me, because I could see that after Chinese New Year there will be lots of troubles, and this can spread around the world. So the one of the first thing I've done, I called my father. I want to come back to Iran. I think I'm more safe there. But I said, but my father said, are you sure? Here is safer. And then I said, if it's going to be pandemic, it will be everywhere. And then also he mentioned that now even the WHO has not announced emergency situation of international concern yet, and they're having meeting every day, so do not need to worry about this kind of thing. Make it short story. I've tried to use some of my own ways of calming myself, and it was effective. And I was able, then only I was able to see a bigger picture, that the world needed to hear the voice from the nature, that you don't know anything. You don't know even 1% of what is there, what is the universe there, and you should take a good lesson from that.
All right.
And somehow a small virus could stop the world. You know, now many countries are in quarantine, and we don't know what's going to happen in next month or in next 2 months, and nothing is for sure for now. So, and I think it's a worthwhile lesson for everyone. And there are many people who have more time to be free to think about a non-trivial thing. You know, they will think about how the change that is happening right now. And I think after the corona, the life can be interesting. Maybe when they go to shopping center, they will ask themselves, "Oh, I didn't go for shopping for 2-3 months. Do I really need that cloth? That another extra piece of cloth to go into my closet?" And that can change the consumption lifestyle. You know, consuming the lifestyle, where people just buy and buy and throw out and buy. And I think that would be a good thing for if you look at it at the bigger picture, not looking at one person benefit. I think it's worthwhile to look at it as a big picture and the benefit it will have for the ecosystem, and even for the existence of human being on the planet Earth as well. And if I think about the people who suffered and people who lost the loved ones, it will be challenging for me. Yeah. But if I'm looking it from the bigger picture, I would be pleased. And besides, there is one theory introduced by Muhammad Ali Taheri, which is called consciousness immunity. In this theory, it is suggested that the ecosystem itself look like a human being, has a character, has an identity, has a behavior, and therefore, as we have consciousness, the ecosystem also have consciousness. The whole ecosystem, not only the planet Earth ecosystem, but the ecosystem of the whole cosmic universe. Okay, and then same applies with the consciousness of the virus. And when a virus is somehow get into the consciousness field of the human being, there will be some interactions, communication, or somehow conversation between these two consciousness. And if overall the consciousness of the person is in line with the consciousness of the ecosystem, is not derived that much from the consciousness of ecosystem, the person might be the carrier of the virus, but will not show the symptom of disease. And therefore, the spirituality comes to a very important point here, not only in terms of philosophical part, but in terms of the scientific part of it. Now he's trying to do research to prove some of these theories, and some of the research has looked like a great result.
Good. That's good to know. Thank you for sharing your what you've been, reading about with us. How do you cope with your work at the moment?
Oh, that's also an interesting thing, because we are teaching from home, and it was a learning curve for me. And whenever it comes to something new, I'll become very excited because I'm learning new skills. And since I wouldn't have the normal access to my student, every session I need to think of the way to keep them engaged, the way to keep them involved into different activities. And also, at the same time, I didn't want them to feel bored of sitting with their computers 7 hours of the school day. So that process made me excited,
Mm.
and I really enjoyed that process.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I
So,
would be able to experience if there was no COVID-19.
mm-hmm. Well, that was really very positive thinking. So, have you done anything differently with them?
Uh, yes, we had fruit party for the last class. I asked them to bring you fruit, and then we share our ideas about what happened, how we feel about the recent changes. And we are
Mhm.
having, since I'm also science teacher, I wanted to somehow enforce a positive lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle with them. And then also, because I didn't want to have the body strain, I had 2 minute, 3 minute video clip which I share with them in our online Google online platform, and they would do exercise and they were stretching, and it's good to see them involved. But the other things that we done was the group works of, because we can share a screen and everyone can annotate on it. So I will put the question there, and I'll ask everyone collectively to answer the question. I'll give them a time limit. So usually that a question will need about 10 minutes to finish. They will have 4 minutes. And they need to work really hard with each other, communicate in an effective way to be able to complete the task, because then the task will be marked as well. So these are the things that it engage them. And I could see some of my students who will not that engaged, they were more engaged and their learning progress improved significantly.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's good to know. How do they think of this virus? And then, do you guys have discussions on this?
With the students,
Yes.
um, with the students, we, because they are in a very important stage of their life, because some of them are teenagers, they are passing through adolescence, and also uh, they have not developed yet a concrete understanding of the world they are living in. And
Yeah.
I personally wanted to make it a not secure place for them. So
Mm-hmm.
all what I focused on was of the precautionary action that they need to take, and ensuring that if you have this precautionary action, you are safe. Discussing more detail of it, I didn't find it suitable for now. Maybe when this crisis is over, then we can have discussion about different aspects of it as well. But
Mm-hmm.
what, for this point of time, I didn't find it suitable to. But I told them that you have to share your emotion. It's okay to be scared. And I told them I was scared very badly on the first day I heard the news. But then I use a technique that I know to calm myself down and take the necessary action. Because if they hide their emotion because maybe they have been seen as a weak, that will have a negative consequence later in their life as well.
All right. So,
So
let's talk about spending time indoors. How do you spend your time these days?
um, first of all, um, unlike the normal school day, which I wish I could sleep 5 more minutes, I would wake up earlier automatically than time I need to wake up. So usually for my normal school day, I have to wake up 5 to 6, 10 to 6, and I always wish I could sleep just 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 few more minutes. But now I'm waking up 6 o'clock without even need of adjusting any clock, and I'm completely aware, sharp, ready to do the task.
Mm-hmm.
Even without having breakfast, I'm ready to do the task. And I think that's a great change. I hope it will stay with me when the schools reopen as well.
I see.
And after that, I'll do some of the practices for me, which I've shared with you earlier about connecting to the consciousness, connecting to the internal consciousness. I'll have my breakfast, get ready for my lessons. My online lessons will run up to uh, 2:30, 3:30. By finishing the report, will be up to 4:30. And after that, I'll prepare the meals, do some house chores, which I didn't have the leisure and luxury of enjoying them because of the very packed life. But now I can look like enjoy those moments of doing the core, enjoy the moments of cooking as well. And the rest of the thing, I'll try to settle with some of the tasks that I wanted to do for a long time, but I didn't have the time to look like reading a book, learning a new language, this kind of thing.
What language are you learning?
Germany.
German. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you learn it, and how do you find it?
It's challenging. I'm learning it using an application and also an online teacher from Iran as well. And I'm so far observing it. I have no comment for now.
All right. So you've been taking advantage of the time.
Yeah,
of spending.
definitely.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
other thing that I've done is that I'm in contact with a professor from Penn State University called Jack Matson, Prof. Jack Matson, and we were writing to each other almost every week, mentioning of our plans, our ideas, and he was a source of inspiration for me. I had a creativity, innovation, and change course. I passed that course with him in 2013, and during this time, once I just wrote to him that, you know what, I think we can have a video conference since we should be free because of COVID-19.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and instead of writing emails, and then we have a video conference, and it was very great conversation. We enjoyed it, and both of us wanted to have more of that.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Right. Wow. Okay. And is there any inconvenience?
The inconvenience mainly is still I'm worried about my family in Iran, since also they are in doctors and they will be in the front line of fighting against COVID-19. And also I'm worried about people who are suffering as well. But I don't know what I can do as a person to help them. And grocery shopping, as I told you. And since we cannot go for a stroll from today onwards, then that can be a bit hard as well. And the other thing which is challenging, but it might be a bit funny or nerdish, is that I have listed tasks I want to complete within using the time, and it's hard for me to choose which one first, because I mean I want to complete all of them, but I know that within the time I have, I cannot complete all those tasks. So I have to prioritize as well. And it's hard for me to like cross through some of those in my list. So I wish I had somehow more time.
All right. It seems like you've been, how to say, you've been like dealing with this really well. And it's like, to me, it's like you've come up a plan, from day one of being quarantined.
I'm happy that, this was not typical me. And yesterday, one of my friends called me that they had a report of COVID-19 in one of the blocks in their condominium, and she was a bit panicky. And she told me, I'm calling you because if I call anyone else and share this, they will panic as well. But I know that you would not. And the next sentence, that, would you ever think that you will be the strong person between our friends? Knowing my background of the phobia I have against this kind of diseases and these situations, because during the time I was panicking for the during Chinese New Year, she was here and calming me down. Now the game turns around.
All right. So my question is that, okay, did you come up with this, plan of learning a foreign language, thinking about the bigger picture, reading a book, and all this plans? Did you have this everything planned out before the quarantine time? Because you have observed other people being quarantined, or you just adjusted to it very well?
The thing is that I was contemplating about these ideas for a long time in my mind. And I was waiting for a long time to have just some more time in a day, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours of more time in a day to settle with those tasks. So when the situation arises, I said that this is the best opportunity for me, because no one is going to distract me to call for a party or going out for cinema or having a meal outside. So, and these are the time I could use to get to do what I really want to do for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. I'm really happy for you. Now you got more time to, you know, really do something that you have been thinking of doing for a long time. That's awesome. And how long do you think you'll be quarantined in Malaysia?
So far, the latest update is up to 14 April. There are many bodies, look like economic minister or economic institute and health institute, that are suggesting that this should be extended up to 28 April, but no official update has been made so far.
All right, I see. Okay. And I can see that you're okay with that, the extension.
I'm practicing to live at the moment. I'm not sure what will be the situation on 14, or if at that time I think I need a fresh air and I had already have enough time to settle myself or not. I cannot predict that, but I assume that it's possible for me to be okay with that.
By the way, you do look great, really.
Thank you.
Radiant. So yeah, but if this quarantine, I think I think you will be working from home for a long time, even though the quarantine is over. I don't think school is gonna be back anytime soon, right?
As soon as, it depends on the instruction by Ministry of Education. It all depends by instruction by Ministry of Education, because for now we have received the movement control order. So if the movement control order is being stopped, then, and there is no new instruction from MOE, Ministry of Education, then the school will be open. Because they haven't even closed the schools before the MCO.
All right. As far as I know, you also have friends and family members in different parts of the world, in Germany, Canada.
Yeah.
All right. Do you communicate with them?
Yeah, I have more time to communicate with them for now. And my cousin who is living in Canada is mentioning that and also my friends in Europe, namely Germany and okay, now then I like sometimes my mind will go blank about the Austria, yeah, Germany and Austria. The workplace are still on, but they have social distancing if in their workplace, or when they're going to go for shopping, things like that. The lifestyle in the city is changed, but the economy is still going on in terms of some of the basic things. So, for example, my friend need to go to work in Austria, or my cousin is will start to go to work soon. She was taking a leave because it was the school holidays in Canada, and she has a little kid and had no one to take care on her behalf. But that will be over soon, and she will be going to work again.
How do you feel about not being able to go out?
Since I have, I can tell you in this way, I do not need to go out to go out.
Okay. Wow, that sounds very philosophical.
Yes. Maybe a luxury I have is that I have a good balcony with a wide view with the trees in front. If I didn't have that, maybe I was frustrated. That's an advantage I have here.
Yes, and your place is spacious.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so
my place is a normal size of any condominium or unit in
Malaysia. But the house, yeah, the housing in Malaysia is spacious. I mean, like every apartment is like a 3-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And then your apartment has a perfect view.
Yeah.
Over the pool. That's good.
I was specific about that criteria of the home when I was selecting, when we were selecting this place to stay.
That's good. That's good. All right. So like if it's all over, okay, I mean when it's all over, what's the first thing you would like to do?
Oh, that's a very, 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 very hard question. I have not even thought about that.
Because you're enjoying the moment.
Yeah. I haven't even thought. I mean, maybe I know what I want. The first thing I would do would be outgoing in the nature. That's I don't want to go to a shopping center or any industrial, or not industrial, but city-like structure. I would like to go to the nature.
Are you always like this? Or
I
just
always enjoy. No, I always enjoy being in the nature, but not always have the energy and the mood of packing for a day out in looking for a picnic. If someone do that for me, I will go. But there is no one to prepare that for me, so I have to do it. So that's my lazy part. But I think for now, since I'm having a good rest, as I'm not need to drive for 25 kilometers, go and back every day and things like that, so I can have a better rest. So I have that energy.
That's good. That's really good to know. That's really good to know. Is there anything else you would like to share with me?
Maybe I can share that if anyone is interested to know more about consciousness, immunity, and that philosophy, they can comment below your work, and then I'll get back to them and give them with more information.
All right, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you for spending your time with us, and I could feel your positivity and your spirit and your energy. That's really good, you know, for people who are, you know, going through some tough time to know. Yeah, and it's always good to chat with you. And I think whoever listens to you will, you know, take a you know, something away from you from your talk. That was really good. Yeah. Okay. So I talk to you personally soon. Right. Thank you for being with us. All right. Oh, by the way, if you are gonna give some advice, because you have shared a lot of the positive things you've been doing yourself. Okay, if you are going to, you know, share some of the advice, okay, you know, with people who are having difficulty staying indoors, what would you like to tell?
I think giving advice like that as general is sometimes hard, because people have different perspectives, different mindset, different personalities, and there would not be a one advice fitting for all of them. Okay, but there is it just appeared to me there is a quote saying that what you seek is seeking you. So if they are looking for a solution, if they are really want to have the solution about to cope with the situation, be sure that there would be a pathway will be open for them, and it won't come look like a miracle, something like an angel appear here and tell you what to do, but it will happen in a normal daily life with a small short conversation that you have with your friend, or even watching a movie, or even talking to your kids or to your families, or you, I don't know how, and even looking at the scene might inspire you and give you the, or even reading a book, while you're reading the book, a quote might have a different meaning, but suddenly you can get another perspective from that wording, and that can transfer you. Okay, so if you are seeking, keep seeking, and be sure that there will be an answer for you. And if you are blaming and just ranting and being upset about the situation, I understand that it's very hard, and you have all the right for that, to express your emotion, but search on the internet what is the healthiest way to express the emotion, because sometimes we say some wording that we think that it's the same to talk in this way or that way, but that message will be heard by our brain, and that will lead to a wrong cycle of information, and which will lead to wrong behavior, which will even worsen the situation in long run. So what we say matters as well. So, but if we look for a proper way of expressing our emotion and our feeling, then it can help us to pass that stage and look for solution.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really, really good to know. That's really, really good to know. Okay, I can see how you're, connecting all the dots and then been thinking a lot about the whole thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing your insights and your experience.
Sorry
And I
if
hope you.
sometimes my pronunciation was not clear or I make
No,
mistake
you
in
don't
voice
have
of
to
voice.
apologize.
Or
You don't have to
yeah.
apologize for anything. It's perfect. And I hope your family and friends are doing well, and you and Shawwan are doing well as well. And I'll talk to you personally very soon.
Thank you so much for both of you for hosting me. All right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.